Hello friends, welcome back to the Art Room with Mr. Eck. Today we're going to be doing a very different kind of art project from what we usually do. In fact, I don't believe I've ever taught this until this year. We're going to be doing an origami art lesson. Origami is a form of art that started in Japan about 200 years ago. And the word origami comes from two Japanese words that are folding and paper. And that's exactly what origami is. It's just folded paper, and it's folded in a way that creates some kind of sculpture, usually some kind of an animal. So let's get right to making our origami. To make origami artwork, you will need some paper. You can buy origami paper, but I have found that regular plain old printer paper works just fine. Now, every project that I have ever done with origami starts with a square piece of paper. And if you're working with printer paper, the first thing you got to do is turn it into a square. So this is how I would do that if you are one of my artists at home. This is how you would take a piece of printer paper and turn it into a square. So first you take one corner and you're going to fold it until the side lines up perfectly. Like that. And then you just press all along that diagonal line. Then you take your scissors and you see this line right here. I'm going to cut that out. Alright, after you've cut off that extra piece, then you unfold it and you have an almost perfectly square piece of paper, which will be perfect for our project. So let's get on with our project. Alright, so I have traded in my white paper for a gold paper because we are going to be making some goldfish today. If you're one of my at-home students, then if you don't have yellow paper, then you can use white paper and just color your fish whatever color you would like it to be. So to make a fish, first off, we're going to have to fold this thing into a triangle. To turn a square into a triangle, you just take this corner and meet it up with this corner down here. And when they're on top of each other, you just hold it down with one finger. And you press down the rest of your shape like this. Just rub that folded part so it will stay folded. And we're going to open it back up. We're going to do the same thing, but to the other corner. So we're going to meet this corner up with this corner. And then press down on the fold again, and then open it back up. And you should have a paper with an X on it. See the X? Alright, so get caught up on that part. If you need to pause the video, now's a great time to do so. And let's move on. So the next part of making our fish is you have to take the sides like this and bend them in towards each other until they touch. And you just flatten down your fish and it will turn into a triangle. You just push down to make those folds stay. Got a really nice looking triangle. And you know that it's the correct kind of triangle if the bottom of it looks like this. So if you need to pause the video, now's a great time to do it. And let's move on with our fish. So all you've got to do at this point to make a fish is to make a tail. So check this out. I'm going to take one of the corners. See how there's two flaps here? I'm going to take the top flap. I'm going to fold it over like this. I'm going to push down like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take this flap. I'm going to cross it over. We want this triangle to be about the same size as this triangle. And you just push down like that. Believe it or not, that's all there is to it. Watch this. You flip it over and it's a fish. You can put a googly eye on here. You could draw some scales if you wanted to. And if you want to make a baby fish, watch this. You can take another piece of paper, it's got to be a square, like we talked about, and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again. And you unfold it, and that makes 4 squares. And you take your scissors, cut your paper into 4 squares, and then you can make 4 baby fish the same way that we made the first one. I'll show you one as an example. Actually, maybe I'll show you 4 as an example using time lapse. And that is how you make a family of fish. And we're going to take it a step further. If you spend a long time working on your fish, then you can finish just by having your fish. But if you have some extra time to work on your art, let's see how we can take this a step further. So first off, I've got some googly eyes, and I'm going to glue some googly eyes on my fish, like so. And then I'm going to glue my fish onto a blue piece of paper, and I'm going to use the unsung hero of the crayon world, the white crayon, to add some bubbles. And I'm going to try my pink crayon to add an octopus or maybe a jellyfish. And I'm going to make a whole artwork starring these origami fish. So let's see how it turns out. And here it is, my finished origami fish artwork. It's got the mama fish and or the daddy fish. Got to represent the daddy fish and the baby fish. And I did the bubbles. Notice how the bubbles are kind of going in a trail upwards, or like in little paths of bubbles. I've noticed that bubbles do that in real life. And I've got a little bitty jellyfish to show he's a little bitty because he's far away. Things are smaller in artwork when they're further away. And I made some seaweed, and I think it turned out super cool. I hope you enjoy making your origami fish, and I will see you next time in the art room.